Wow. All right. All right.
I can't read a calendar, and I have somebody else do it usually, but I read it and I screwed it up. So here I am.
Wow. Well, I'm very happy you're here. It's always nice to have you with us. So that's a nice surprise, especially because a few speakers will either be late or not joining today. Sad, but it is what it is. So we're waiting for, let me check, Loopring. That's the first one. The other one is ThreadFi. ThreadFi, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Right here. I'll
Oh,
be speaking on their behalf. Yeah.
here we go. Glad you're here. So that's one.
Thanks.
Awesome. Then we're still waiting for one more. That's fine. All right. Then, before he joins, let's just start with the usual introduction round. Even though you guys are here every week, it's still, sometimes we have some new listeners. So it will be good to, introduce yourself. Which project are you from? And also, did you had any major updates in the last week? I'm going to throw it over to Andre first. Here we go.
Hey guys, Andre here, a co-founder of Hypersurface. We've had pretty eventful couple weeks. We launched on Base. That was a major expansion. We decided to support some assets that exist only on Base. So we launched there. So now we support both HyperEVM and Base. We're getting ready for a major product release early next week. I'm not going to tell what it is, but it's basically almost it's done. We're just doing the final testing. Next week, just, follow us to hear the updates, and maybe anything else will come up during this call. But I think that's pretty much it. In terms of like to give the intro, Hypersurface it's a protocol for volatility yield. So it's basically a novel primitive that enables holders of assets earn yield on assets they already hold in a novel way by basically selling volatility. And yeah, go check it out, app.hypersurface.io. We have a selection of tokens, Hype, ETH, BTC, and others, where you can earn substantial yield by selling volatility.
Awesome. Thank you, Andre. So you basically got kicked off with the alpha round. That's pretty cool. So that's the alpha we get up front today from Andre for Hypersurface. Empress, by the way, maybe you can help me to get Sheetake on stage, or maybe he's occupied. I don't know. I try to invite him. And also I see your husband, sorry to put it that way, Toast, in the audience. So maybe you can pull him up as well. We got room for more speakers. So let's have some fun.
Sorry to put it that way. His wife's probably whacking him upside the head. Wild work.
I'm sorry. I just, we gotta have some fun, right? All right, let's see if we can get them up. So throwing it over to Pablo.hype, the grandfather of all meows on Hyperliquid. How are you?
Thank you, GML. I'm not Grandmaster. He a little bit busy, but BD at Katbal. Katbal, it's a community and NFT project on HyperEVM, Hyperliquid. We have token, we have NFTs. To set on NFTs trades, it's our Soulbot collection. And Illuminati, it's our speculative collection that you can buy on Drip Trade right now. Yes, so we don't have a huge news on this week. We just building our configurator where you will can change your trades on your PVPs. So like you could buy trades and don't buy whole if you like some trades, something like that. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for the intro and thanks for being here. I'm super excited, by the way. If you go to Drift Trade right now, you can see all the cats on field. People have been waiting for this for a long time. I think they look awesome. All of them are unique. I got to be careful with spending hype on these things, but it's truly addictive. I love the NFTs. Well done. All right. So throwing it over to our partner, Automato. How are you guys doing?
Hello. Nice to talk to you. Can you hear me well? Beautiful. So doing pretty well. So this week has been pretty hectic. Lots of new people onboarded into the platform. A lot of like amazing feedback. Some pretty cool new features that I can explain later. Yeah, so it's an hectic week, but very good.
Awesome, glad to have you here. Can you quickly explain what Automato is, what tool you currently have live, and what's coming up? Because it's pretty exciting to know for the people that are listening.
100%. So what we're building right now is what we actually call today, it's basically your DeFi sidekick. So you just passed your wallet. We scan all your HyperEVM positions. We're integrating more and more projects every day. And by the way, we just integrated Hypersurface this week. So this is the good news. And based on that, we will send you only alerts, notification that truly matters. For example, if you're about to get liquidated, if your position is out of range, back in range, if there is TG announcement, if there is an airdrop that you're eligible, all those kind of like notification that is really, really important, but only that. No noise, no price movement, etc., etc. Only the notification that you want that is like very, very much tailor-made to your wallet. Very soon you will be able to add multiple wallets. We got this request many times. It's fully free, guys. So just go to automato.xyz and set it up. You will see it's 5-second settings. It's very, very little noise, but when Automato send you a notification, it means that it's very, very important.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's an amazing tool, and I'm super excited that we are integrated now as well. So yeah, check it out, guys. It's like automation is the future, in my opinion. The more easy it can get. So awesome. Great to have you here again.
Happy to be here. Yeah, it's
All
the
right,
second
man.
time. Last time it was my co-founder Clement. Now it's me, Dylan. So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, I noticed the change in accent.
Same accent actually, right? It's
Oh, it's
every
also
French
French then,
accent.
right? Well, his accent is a little bit more clear. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. All right, thanks for being here. Yeah, we got Kinsu in the place as well. Shite, please take the stage and let us know what you guys have been up to last week.
Yeah, happy to. What's up, everyone? This is Christo, aka Shiitake. I'm sort of the vibe wizard of Kinsu. Mostly do BD and marketing stuff and cultivating narratives and all that magic. So Kinsu, we're sort of working on our line at the moment, and what we've come to find is that Kinsu is actually the world's first stake curation protocol. It's the most economically aligned piece of staking infrastructure ever made. People are going to realize this as we release our governance, which should go live in about 2.5 months or so. And that's where Kinsu will really shine. In terms of what we've been up to this week, we've basically just been getting ready to ship on a new chain, which is coming very, very soon. And a lot of things are cooking in the background. I can say that I've been on back-to-back calls all day today, just organizing everything. It's a very, very busy time. So yeah, really stoked about being here. Super bullish on Hype and Hyperliquid. I keep buying. I can't stop buying the token, especially after seeing Paradigm staking so much of it today and the SWP ratio being the lowest it's ever been. So it's looking good for Hype. But yeah, happy to be here with all you cool folks.
Awesome, man. And thanks for being here. I mean, if you're that busy, it's amazing that you still take the time to hop on. So thanks a lot, man. Last but not least, we got a TradFi in the house. Please introduce yourself, your product. Let us know what you've been up to. I'm super excited to learn more.
Hi, I'm Dalko. I'm one of the co-founders of Shred, and just at a high level, what Shred is just imagine as a very simple UX. You open the app, you see a target rate of 50% APY, and you just 2 clicks, you deposit your stables in it, and you start accruing immediately at that 15% APY. What's happening behind the scenes, we can talk about it later, but it's just built on simplicity. And then you got a receipt token that you can actually use in DeFi that's got liquidity and all that. And then it's a very, really, in a nutshell, very simple way to like earn yield on your stables with a real generating the strategy underneath generating real yield. That's basically what it is in a nutshell. And yeah, the team behind it is very experienced. We've all worked together for 3.5-4 years in coming from the Cosmos ecosystem. From basically all the OGs are from the Mars protocol, which was a money market initially, and then a DeFi protocol that built all sorts of primitives, things like leverage field farming, perps trading, all that. And we had at our peak, we had in Terra $300 million in TVL. So very experienced team, understands all the primitives. Excited to speak about the product later. And what are we at now? We're building, heads down, grinding. Our goal is to launch in Q1 of next year.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the introduction as well. Super interesting. Well, definitely gonna keep an eye on you guys. Feel free to hop on every week to share updates. Basically, we have a lot of speakers that jump on every week. So, excited to see where you guys are going. And, if you need any help behind the scenes, feel free to DM me and, we can have a conversation always. Amazing. All right. We actually have one more Before we jump into the questions, I see them in the audience. It's Loop Ring, trying to invite them onto the stage.
While you do that, I'm going to do something I haven't done in years. Um, Welcome to Hyper Surface or Surface. No, it says Hyper Surface. You screwed me up already. Hyper Surface Space on Hyperliquid. If you could like and retweet the space, if you don't know how, it's the button at the bottom. If you could follow each other, we might be able to grow this ecosystem in a more, expeditious fashion with our 4 retweets. Also, if you could drop it in your group chats, people might know we exist and pull up, and there's usually good information. Follow everybody on stage, but if you take a mic, at least follow your host and co-host, because otherwise that's just bad manners.
This was Empress on Automado. Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Empress. Like, we needed this for sure. It actually worked. I think the engagement goes up right away. That's what we need. Awesome. Oh, my bad, by the way. I see Adam.hl in the speaker panel. I think that's from Loopring, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I'm Adam from Looping Collective, actually. But yeah, super happy to be here. I see a few familiar PFPs in the crowd. Thanks for inviting me on. So yeah, I'm early growth at the Looping Collective. We've actually been live since day one of HyperEVM, our first product, LHype. We call it a liquid looping token. It is essentially a tokenized yield strategy, which mainly does looping. And we're the largest borrower on HyperEVM. So we have loop type, and then we also do wrapped HLP, and we have a whole bunch of new tokenized yield strategies that are going to be coming to market very soon. So yeah, stoked to be here and connect with you guys and bull post and chat around HyperEVM.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the introduction and thanks for being here. I'm super excited to have new speakers on, guys. So, having all the introductions done, I think, open forum, no stress, no obligations. If you don't want to talk, you don't. But there's a little chance that Empress is going to throw the mic at you, so don't be silent for too long. Anyway, the first thing, by scrolling over X today, got me to my, topic question, however you want to see it. So there's been ups and downs lately within the Hyperliquid ecosystem. Have you guys, as founders, team members, noticed any shifts in like user behavior, community sentiment in either your own project or across Hyperliquid as a whole? Throwing this to whoever wants to take it.
I think
Interesting question.
Hey,
I could take it if you want.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't even, please, Toast, introduce yourself. I didn't even see you there. My bad.
I just came up in the last few minutes. That's okay. I am Toast. I'm a very early Hyperliquid user. I was perps trading on Hyperliquid in 2023, so that means I got a big airdrop. But these days, I'm mostly working on developing the HyperEVM ecosystem, and in particular, working with protocols. I'm a co-host on a show called DeFi for Dummies. It's a spaces that we do. We actually had Hypersurface up yesterday as guests, and that's probably the biggest project that I'm involved in currently. For my background, I am a machine learning engineer and data scientist. But to your original question, I don't really do perps trading anymore. I'm mostly focused on just optimizing yields. And I think that this is a shift for some Hyperliquid users, that Hyperliquid is moving from being just a perps dex to a lot more. And I think that the behavior of a lot of users has changed with regards to that. And an interesting aspect of that is that a lot of the perps traders have kind of moved into, quote unquote, farming other perps dexes, while the user base on Hyperliquid is growing because they're attracted to yields and interesting financial products that are being offered in this ecosystem. So it's sort of evolving in a way that it's diversifying the product set. And I think that the user behavior is reflecting that.
Boom. That's what I call a speaker. Wow. I think you do Twitter Spaces more often, or not, Toast?
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, we're on a lot of spaces. You can catch me a lot. It can really, it tires me out. But yes, absolutely honored to jump up here whenever I can and when I have the energy. I'm also getting over a little cold, so my voice is a little congested. So sorry about that.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So likewise there. So yeah, next to that question, guys, like what has been the most challenging part about building in an ecosystem like Hyperliquid? Like we have a lot of technical guys here. Like maybe you can talk about the advantages or, anything you want to share in that way.
I'm happy to jump in on this one. I think the biggest benefit we noticed when we came to the chain was that everybody knows that DeFi works on this chain. There's a lot of different networks out there with different communities. Some are sort of more retail friendly, but sometimes that the trade-off there is you don't have people that actually understand how DeFi works. But I think coming into a community where everyone is super sophisticated on the trading side and on the DeFi side has been a massive boost for us. And it kind of feels like being back in the early days of Ethereum at times, just because people tend to have more of an understanding of things. And therefore, there is generally more capital on per user as well, which also helps, I guess, because we're all looking to get capital in our protocols. But yeah, that was the standout benefit for us.
Yeah, happy to confirm what you're saying. Like we've been trying out other chains and stuff, and so far Hyperliquid is 100% a fit for us because we don't have to re-educate people. We can have like very much like deep conversation about DeFi. People knows exactly what the product is about without explaining too much. So it's a very qualified people plus a lot of like engagement. We see straight away at the moment we are in the Hyperliquid ecosystem. Everyone is helping, everyone is giving feedback. We got like tons of very, very valuable feedback. So this is a big educated and smart community. So it's a big win to go into this fully aligned on what you were just mentioning.
Yeah, that's like I mirror what Guy said before, that I really don't find it very challenging comparing to, we've been building this space for a while. We started on ETH mainnet back in the day when there was no L2s, where there is no really alternative EVMs. Then we built on Polygon and Arbitrum, and I find building a HyperEVM actually probably the easiest because of how mature, how evolved the ecosystem is, and the sophistications of the users, where they really understand how to use these products and sort of like they know what they're looking for. And yeah, so I honestly, in comparison to my past experience, this has been the best experience. So I don't really see any challenges, more of the opposite of that.
Well, I can certainly say a few words here as well. So yeah, we launched day one of HyperEVM with Looptype. Yeah, I mean, there were a few problems back then, which like the ecosystem has been maturing, which is great. Like, block explorers weren't in the state they're in now, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, by and large, I will say that HyperEVM is just like full of cracked builders and teams that have come from other ecosystems and are feeling jaded about, other DeFi ecosystems, be it, on Base, Ethereum, Solana, wherever. So I feel like the quality of builders on HyperEVM is very high. And yeah, it's very much a collaborative environment. So everyone's helping each other. I don't really see, there's not too much kind of, there are people at each other's throats and stuff like that. So which is good. We all want to like grow the pie together essentially. So yeah, that's what I would say about that.
Kumbaya, my lord.
I think we can say we're bullish on Hyperliquid, right?
Beautiful.
Awesome. All right. So
Didn't you hear that you're only supposed to say good things, right?
Oh, maybe there is a bad stuff. It's like then all the biggest brain are on Hyperliquid, so you have a lot of competition also. That's maybe the only bad stuff, I would say.
you don't have to hold your hand, Empress. You know that.
Lovely, lovely, lovely words. A lot of cap, though. Ecosystems evolve over time, and at first it was very collaborative and whatever else, but it is starting to get competitive because people are picking and choosing as they learn these different protocols in and out, and money's getting allocated places. We have some people that have not made it, not a rug pull. They just hadn't, the business didn't pick up. We got wars on the timeline, things like that. So I just wanted to remind founders and builders respectfully, many of you suck at talking to people because you are invested in your work and you are protective of your work, and it's hard to depersonalize. So I strongly recommend you find even an intern that can do some of the front end of what's going on, so that way you can concentrate on building. You won't get your feelings hurt, and you can have a pit bull on the timeline and somebody who can be cleaning up messes and handling optics for you. I used to work for teams where I would ban the founders from talking to people. So when there was upset, and I just wanted to recommend to all of you to start looking into that as you scale out and can afford one. And there are very affordable interns in CT for as low as $200 a month. that is life-changing money for them. So there are options.
I mean, that's Empress going, wow. I mean, yeah. So talking of these kind of things, right? Obviously, people, within an ecosystem that's slowly growing, right? Some are popular, some are less popular. But as we have seen, we don't need to mention any names. Like things like, there's a lot of token launches that are just, happened or still coming up. This can completely mess it up for you. Right. So what are your thoughts there, Empress? Like, everyone's always hyped about, this token TGE coming up and yada, yada, yada. But if you're not doing this well, even though you're one of the most popular protocols, what are your thoughts there? I'm going to stop here.
So personally, I hate the new TGE meta. I'm not really seeing how we're differentiating it much from Pump Fun at this point, the way that people are getting their airdrops and then just bragging the heck out of a chart and calling it free money. And especially you can tell because people are asking for it all the time. I think that finding a use case for the token, so it is less of a meme token and more of a utility token, because I think it's important to differentiate between alts and utility tokens, something that can contribute back into your own ecosystem in a way that is integrated so that people have some motive to hold that token, I think is a really good idea. And like Protocol, I won't name them, I thought they did something incredibly creative. They anticipated people selling everything, so they offered people either full allocation because there's utility that goes with it, or half the allocation, and one of the tokens was essentially just a stable coin, like you cash it out immediately. So that launch went really, really well, but I do think getting really creative around the TGE and not allowing your community to bully you into the TGE and when they want it and how they want it, I think is a really good way to kind of go about that.
Interesting. Anyone would like to comment on this one?
Yeah, I totally like to comment because that what Empress just said about your community bullying you into TGE, I can totally resonate with this. And I think the dynamics of the situation is always that a very, very small majority have the loudest, disproportionate loudest voices. And typically they don't represent the interest of the entire community. They typically serve their own selfish interests. And then if you feed into their pressure, you're actually going to do a disservice to the community. So I would totally, sort of like resonate and supportive of, what, I think as a founder, you need to understand that you are the leader and you need to have your own plan and your own kind of agenda here. And, you can listen to what people say, but at the end of the day, it's your call. And especially be wary of this, those loud, selfish voices that will try to use all arguments to pressure you. Typically, it never ends well. So
There's a famous quote from a Doodles founder. While a lot of 2021 should be left behind, many, many aspects were great. And it is Florida and get the fuck out. I think you guys have the right to tell somebody if they don't like what's happening and they're not enjoying it. They don't have to stick around and bitch, moan, and complain. They can go and somebody else will hopefully come and pick up that slack. And oftentimes, if people see a really problematic whale that might be a threat or whatever, other whales will oftentimes step in and help bring that up. I always say we thank our whales, we appreciate our whales. People don't recognize all they do to support the community on certain things that they don't have to do. So yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with Empress. I think some really sound advice here. So yeah, I'd just like to chime in with some of my thoughts. So we actually have a token and we TG'd very early. And I think, well, first off, I think protocols need to ask themselves, do they need a token, right? A lot of protocols haven't even found product market fit or anywhere near finding product market fit, and they just launch a token. And I feel like in the Hyperliquid ecosystem, it makes a lot of sense that people want more hype, right? So they're going to dump your token for hype. That's fairly obvious, right? So, I mean, what we did is we're experimenting and our tokenomics are, still evolving. But what we did is we tried out TVL TVL-based vesting mechanisms instead of time-based vesting. So all tokens get unlocked when we all hit a collective target. We also launched our token Loop at, a low FDV. We didn't make a big song and dance about it. We didn't really want to see like a big dump when we launched. And I think it went quite well for the first 3 months. But the TVL based vesting mechanism kind of bit us in the ass a bit because we hit like a TVL target, and then like there were some people there that were waiting to like flip back into hype. So I mean, it's a complicated game, but yeah, I agree with what Empress says. Like your token needs to kind of work within your ecosystem, and like we currently do buybacks of our token. So we use protocol fees to buy back our token, and then we distribute the token every Friday. But we're continually looking at evolving our tokenomics, and I think it's a challenging game, but I think you really need to hook into hype somehow, I think, and the overarching ecosystem. And if you want to kind of
And Looping Collective, I love how you guys did it because you guys distribute it. I have no idea when you do. I just once a week I look and I have extra loop, and then you stake it, and it's a boost on your points. So for me, there's been no impetus to sell at all. I just keep staking it each time, and so it's almost like the versus a token airdrop or whatever. It's incentive to hold the token, and you get to get aspects of the token, and there's no like that. It's almost like a lockup, an involuntary one, but you don't even know it's happening. It's a psyop because you're getting the token and then you choose to stake it and you're getting extra points. So anybody who's getting confused or whatever, you might want to partner with Looping Collective because it's a pretty ingenious way, I think, that they rolled out.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's an experiment, and as I mentioned, we continue to evolve it. One thing I will mention as well, though, is anyone that has held L hype or kind of been in an L hype position in the past. We actually farm the underlying protocols of Loop type, so like Hyperlend, Hyperfi, Phoenix, etc. And yeah, we're massive points leaders on Hyperlend with 39 million points. We're massive point leaders on HyperFi as well. And we're basically doing this on behalf of our users, and 100% of airdrops get distributed back to users as well. Yeah, I haven't really seen any of the protocols that do that. I can see Toast is in the chat here. I'm pretty sure you need to check your allocation on Hyperlend Toast. I can send you a link because I know you had some L hype at some point. So I'm sure you're going to get a nice drop there. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to add in here. I know I'm getting a lot of airtime here. I'll let someone else speak.
I have a big
I feel-
bag
I feel- I had a big L hype position very early on, and it was all looped and stuff. And I did unwind that. It's not, it's no slight against L hype, but I'm still a loop holder.
No, I mean, like,
Check it out.
you've been an early contributor to the protocol. So yeah, we did it like there was 30 weeks of Hyperlend points, and we mapped those points to, because we take daily snapshots ourselves, and we map those against the daily snapshot. So yeah, you'll get an allocation from being early user.
Amazing. That's amazing news.
I already checked mine. I got them.
I think Shiitake wanted to chime in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was just sending a message to Stephen, our founder, about TVL based vesting. Yeah, no, I think it's a really cool idea. I mean, the initial thing that comes up for me is like, would our investors, potentially run a civil attack on that? Is there a way for that to be gamed? That would be the first concern that I would bring up. But I think it's a great way to kind of drive more TVL into your protocol. So it's definitely something now that internally we're going to talk about and discuss and run simulations on, I think. But coming back to the tokens, I firmly agree on tokens requiring utility. I think a lot of projects just launch tokens for the sake of it. I think at Kinsu, we've taken 2 years to design our governance protocol, which at the heart of that governance protocol has a utility token or a governance token, whatever you want to call it. It has utility in that system. So I suppose you could argue both. And for us, that's not going to go live until at least 2 months after governance goes live. And then when you start to talk about buybacks and things like that, I mean, if you look at Lido, they only recently, actually today, they proposed a buyback mechanism, and it basically, like, Lido's buybacks only start when ETH is above 3K with a yearly revenue of above 40 million. And then if both are true, 50% of the extra revenue buys the LDO token. The numbers are not final though, apparently. So their argument is that this makes buybacks anti-cyclical. And in good markets, Lido buys more LDO. In bad markets, the buybacks slow down so the DAO doesn't drain its treasury. But like things like this happening from like the giants in the space also gives us a wider or broader perspective on how we can go about things. But like, completely agree, the token must have utility, and definitely in our system it's going to have utility, and everything will be like a phased rollout when it comes to sort of the economic incentives and such.
Nice, interesting. So, just by listening to you guys, a strong use case for the token is a must, right? So even though you guys already spoke a little bit about it, I'm kind of leading towards the guys that did not say a lot yet. What does strong use case mean to you guys? Throwing it to Andre first.
Well, I mean, the way I see it, at the end of the day, well, you know what? I'm gonna skip that because like it's a risky waters. I think that at the end of the day, if the protocol generates value for the users, then there's always, I believe that it's that in and on itself already creates an opportunity for a token. In terms of like embedding token further and making like a core part of the function of the protocol, I think there is a big design space in that area. And I think we're just getting started here. We already have really cool examples of that being done well, like let's say airdrops on base. I think they're doing really well with their tokenomics in a way that really incentivizes and accelerates growth of their product. So I don't really have any kind of like particular how to say it? Like I'm just aware that there is a massive design space that's been unlocked here, and I think we're gonna see more and more of sort of like different solutions that perhaps will become standardized over time in terms of how you can further embed the token into the functioning of the DeFi protocol. I'm focusing specifically on DeFi protocol, right? Because in terms of layer ones, we already know how token is being used there. But yeah, I would say in our case, we're still early. We're still just getting started on the design. I would say that it's very, very important to think things through and don't rush. And that's again, to resist any kind of pressure, external pressure to launch the token sooner than later without thinking it through. I think it's important to sit down to think, okay, like is there any way that I can accelerate or sort of like put I would say like a fuel on the fire, right? In where there is already value creation happening in my protocol, can I somehow use the token to accelerate it or to direct the flows in a way that increase this value creation and kind of like incentivize people to do the thing that benefits the whole system. So yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to let people know the Superior Aerodrome protocol has rolled out on Hyperliquid. It's Hyperliquid native. It is ultra solid, and they did it better. So you guys definitely should check that out. I think that they are going to leave Aerodrome in the dust. I can say this confidently. I am not affiliated, but I love it. Many people, Toast and I are pretty heavily allocated over there, based on how they rolled out their tokens and the use case for it. And similarly to Looping Collective, I realized what they were doing because they're not always the most present in spaces. And I sent Adam a message, try to get him on D for D. But when I realized what they were doing, I hold a pretty big bag of L hype as well. So I think that when I'm very bearish on when I see a token drop coming. And I know that it's just going to be X liquidity for a lot of people. So yeah, but definitely check out Ultra Solid and Looping Collective for some ideas on tokenomics.
I think that's incredibly hard as well, right? So we often hear this discussion also internally with, teams and like, when you're doing a very big airdrop, it's dangerous for your product, sorry guys, for your own project, right? You might get dumped on, but if your airdrop is too little, you don't give a shit about your community, So I think those were very good examples. What's your thought on that? Anyone? Automato, I see your hand up. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting topics that we have today. And I believe that there is a project that is before and after TG. And it's two type of marketing, it's two type of product building, of community building, etc. Because before having TG, it's a lot of you try to give incentives, you try to acquire people, etc., etc. So it's the perfect marketing that you can have because your community is here to get incentivized a bit. So maybe they follow you because they have this kind of like the carrots, as we say. The thing is like, okay, it's great. UTG it, they get rewarded, but then it's another story. And then it's where the value of your product and what you've been building in the space, like very much is challenged. And if you've just like built hype and promises, and just like marketing, and you don't have a very useful use case in your product. I'm I don't want to say that, but 50% at least of project is like doing this kind of like marketing with a token, and then they disappear after all. Then, and for me, this is where the space must be better. Is like a token is not just the marketing things; it should be a full energy into your product that should fuel it and stuff. So, I mean, that's my vision, and that we have a lot of discussion with my co-founder about what a token should mean for projects, and accept just like free marketing, because it's the easiest way. You just say, hey, I have a token, you have like so many users straight away that landing on your product and stuff. So, and we don't want to go that way. We really want to have like genuine users that like what we build. And then we think of like, okay, now we bring value. Let's explode this value with a token. That's our kind of like mindset behind.
Jackie, go ahead.
Well, I think Empress had her hand up there, so
That's
I
a
will-
glitch, but thank you.
oh, that's a glitch. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like, look, it really all depends on the type of protocol. But if we go back to the starting point of the space and blockchains, what tokens were supposed to be used for is decentralized coordination. It was to drive incentives for economic alignment in a system that is potentially censorship resistant. So like for us as a staking protocol, because we're basically building blockchain infra, that's quite important for securing the chain GDP. Our first and foremost participant in that economy are validators, and they make revenue from stake delegation. So in order to coordinate them in a way that's fair and to prevent the manipulation or like a concentration of power, having a token in that system where the community can become representatives and basically participate in this sort of like democracy, so to speak, that also is a marketplace. It just means you can have better coordination, and there's already demand and utility in the token. So even if you do have people that come in, they, in our case, stake with us to get exposure to the points that eventually give them a token. If they're genuinely bullish on the token that they're staking, which on Hyperliquid is Hype, then they want to optimize the yields that they're earning on the liquid stake token that they're going to be compounding throughout the ecosystem. Therefore, you might assume that a good portion of them might want to keep this token because it means that they can compete in this game to ensure that the protocol yield stays competitive. So that's kind of like the way we approach it. But again, it's different for every protocol. Some protocols take a more of a sort of a growth stock approach where their token is sort of like tied to revenues, and you could do that too with a utility token, but there's many ways to do it. But I thought I should bring that up because originally this whole space, really, tokenization was about the coordination in the decentralized system.
Yeah, well said, Ansem. And I think what's also very important, it's simple, but it's important is just being transparent as a team, right? What you see a lot is people promising a lot of statements and stuff to your community, which then leads to frustration or broken promises. You know, we all know where that ends, right? So that's my thought on that one. Anyone else want to chime in here? Pablo, let's go.
Yeah, so basically from my dummy, not much experience yet, I listen your thoughts, your ideas for the token, and as Empress says on the start of the conversation, all Hell Echo members have one clear goal on this time. It's accumulate much more hype as you can. So it's basically when you want to launch as a protocol your own coin, first of all you need to think how your token will be help to others users to accumulate more hype through your protocol. It's, as I see, it's for maybe sometime it's will be lead people to bring their attention to the protocols. If your protocol and your token help them accumulate more hype, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, and that's what Looping Protocol and Ultra Solid have done. They implemented it in a way that holding it would ultimately lead to more hype accrual independently.
Yeah, definitely. Ultra Solid, it's a very interesting project because they launched not a long time ago and released the token basically after 3 months of farming, and it was most successful one other projects who was here a long time launched their token, and it's not played well. So yeah, Ultrasolid, it's interesting case.
I see Doko has his hands up. Let's go.
Hey, yes. I just want to add my own, which is not too different than what you guys are saying, but basically the way I see it is I come from the school of thought where you want to first build a great product, and then you want to put it in front of the right people, and that's going to essentially that's just going to transform into growth and success for the product itself. Now, like you absolutely need that before even thinking about any tokenomics or launching a token. Like that is really what you need to have, because ultimately, if you have a token, or you don't have a token, what matters is like people are actually finding utility in what you have and they're using it and they like it. That's I think the first thing, right? Then the other thing to think about is there's different type of products here out there. Some are going to be really high. They're going to generate a lot of fees, right? Like Hyperliquid, the upper core generates a lot of fees. Some don't, right? Doesn't mean that they don't have utility. People don't want them. But then at that point, depending on what kind of product you have different levers to pull here, right? If you're generating a lot of fees, you just push a lot of those fees back into buybacks. And that is utility of the token, because essentially your token is just going to pump like it does for Hyperliquid. That's why we all want to hold Hyperliquid if we all think we don't have enough, right? But then if you don't, then you gotta find a way to give essentially utility to your token in different ways that can boost like the product. In our case specifically, we think we're going to be generating quite a bit of high fees. So for us, it's a little bit of a dance that we have to play. We really have two levers here. Either we take those fees and essentially buy back the token that we're going to be launching, like not, when we think is right, it's right time, as Empress correctly said. But another thing we can do, because we know that, the Hyperliquid community likes this a lot and we would do it ourselves for ourselves. You can take some of those fees and just buy hype. And if you stake the token or something like that, you can get that airdrop as well, right? It's a little bit of a dance what we do with the fees, but ultimately we are all aligned. We want people to have more hype and we want people to find the product like just great utility and see that ultimately it's going to benefit also with them holding a token for them. There's my take there.
Yeah, I just wanted to co-sign that because the thing is one, strategic partnerships are also really helpful in these things. I mean, if you can provide value running it through another protocol and things like that, that can be helpful. I call them protocol families because like these people are making these partnerships. But two, to your point, there's also the onus on the traders. For me, I run my portfolio every day two ways on Surf AI. Again, not affiliated. I just really love that tool. And I run it with potential airdrops, and then I run it without potential airdrops because I want to be making informed decisions to be in good products that I'm still going to make money on without relying on money that isn't actually in my wallet. And I think that a lot of people get emotionally invested and entitled because they are already allotting for airdrops and what they think they're entitled to and where that's coming. And then they end up in a position where they're going to dump no matter what, when maybe they could have been making more hype while using the protocol. So I think that it's important too for people to operate under the guise of what's good tech, what am I making money here, what does this scale out to, and then airdrops going back to a mentality of a bonus, like yay, this is really cool, but not a guarantee to do anything.
Anyone else, guys?
Actually, I love your last sentence. I keep reading people complaining about airdrops and stuff, and I'm like, man, this is just like free money. And like, in which place like you can complain about free money? We just give you like, I don't know, 100,000, 10,000 bucks for free, and you're still not happy. Like, in no other place, or imagine in Web2, if I don't know, your Duolingo give you like free money, you will be like, what the fuck, this is amazing. But because in Web3 you got so used to that, and so how can I say,
Entitled.
yeah, exactly. So then we dare to complain, and this is for me like where the shift should happen. It's like, it's, guys, we're giving you money we are grateful for your help, for your feedback, for for using the product we spend a lot of time to build. So just be happy as well. It's a win-win. And yeah, that's my take. That's where I believe the mentality should change a bit, because it's always free money. Even if it's $10, it's free money. So just be grateful.
Man, you're giving me $500? What a shit protocol. It's definitely the way it goes. I think a lot of us have been spoiled back in the day with used airdrops.
That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. People just want to keep raising the bar, but that's not always possible. But I totally hear you there. I thought Hi Home had his hand up. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely, Ronnie. I think beautiful take from everyone. Okay. But I think one of the things I think Leon Abud actually said something. This same topic I've been brought up in a space I host every day, like the Hyperliquid Money Assembly, when it comes to TGE and products and all that. One thing I think I learned from Leon Abud was most projects do not actually focus on the product, right? They make they make it a whole lot about the token than the product they're building, right? And this actually, affects the product. I say the protocol, whatever it is they're building negatively when the tokenomics, or should I say, the token doesn't do well, right? And I think it's a very, very important or an integral aspect for a project, like invest more in the product rather than on the token. Right now, it's okay to reward the community. It's okay, of course. People are going to come in and, pre-TG and post-TG, a different ballgame. I think someone said it. I'm sorry, my X is glitching. I didn't know who was speaking. But yeah, it's a whole different ballgame, right? Because pre-TGE, you are trying to attract people. You give, there's this point system. There is no incentives and, promise of incentives, right? And a whole lot of people are coming in. A whole lot of people are going to come in, farmers, believers, keys, and a whole lot of people come into your project. But what retains them is the product. Because after TGE, whole lot of people are going to leave. It is a fact. If you onboard 200, 300,000 people on pre-TGE, just know for a fact that you are literally retaining probably 100. And that is if your product is very good, very good. Like you made it so much that rather than your product is so good that they tend to use it day to day. So it is no longer about the token anymore. It's like, you want to make your swap. Of course, you can use Ultra Solid. I love those guys. That interface is crazy, right? And they go ahead and use Ultra Solid because someone was having an issue bridging here. I think I was someone onboarded onto the Hyperliquid system was having an issue. I'm bridging the Hyperliquid on Rabi, right? I was like, why are you stressing yourself? It was so seamless that this dude didn't even know that there's a token on Ultrasolid. It doesn't even know that. Like, it doesn't even occur to him that there's a token on Ultrasolid, right? And guess what he's gonna say as it goes on? Use Ultrasolid. That's the thing. Because the product is good. I keep telling people, I keep telling first that say, work on the product more than the token. Work on the product because in the long run, that is what is gonna speak for it. It's gonna speak for itself. That's just the thing. Even setup protocol, I think the other day, DeFi for Dummies, right? I love the setup protocol team. I just love those guys, right? They are so real. So there was a time they had more cash. They had more cash than the whole token. They had more cash than the whole market cap of the token. You can imagine that can build it. That's the thing. It's the product that matters. But due to the fact that most projects or most protocols on the Web3 space now they don't want to build good products. Some are not even product based. One.
Land your plane, hi home. Land your plane.
Okay. Okay. And two, okay, let me wrap that real quick. Two, there are much about, okay, let me just run. I'm done. Oh, you just killed it, Empress. Come on.
I know.
But yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
I know you rant though, and that could have gone another 20 minutes.
Playing.
To those of you
Man,
who are unaware,
I'm awake now. I want to do another hour. Let's go.
To those of you who are unaware, Hi Home demonstrated exemplary work ability and desire to be here. So he is now Toast's intern and taking care of things because he does some content. So like I said, if you're looking for people to be on the front lines and things like that, there are people out here in need that don't want handouts and that are proving to be of value and can take an intern job.
All right. I see Adam has his hand up.
Yeah, hi home. Props to your energy, man. That is some mad energy. I love it. Great vibes. But yeah, made some really good points as well, to be fair though. Yeah, I mean, just want to say, just add to this that I think HyperEVM is still in its infancy, right? I think to get to mature to like an ecosystem like on the scale of like Ethereum DeFi's app, I think we need to like. I don't think institutions and like digital asset treasuries and stuff care about tokens per se. Like they care about real yield. There's different risk profiles here, right? There's all of us guys on HyperEVM. There's like farmers and etc. But I think once the institutions go on board, which they are, I think we need to like focus more on the products. And I think that's been said already. around the real yield, around like the risk and like the security of like your protocol. I think all of this is really important. You know, we can't talk about DeFi without thinking about like Stream and, you know, some of the things that have happened in the last week or so, even with Balancer. But, you know, I think, you know, this is still a big sticking point for some people. And, you know, if we want to onboard all of finance, like Hyperliquid wants to do, we want that to come over to the EVM. You know, there's still some maturing that needs to be done, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Well said, 100%. So I think that was a very, very valuable space, guys. I actually loved the conversation. I actually learned a lot as well this week. So, you know, for everyone who's here, please, you know, I'm going to send out the invite like I do every week to all of you guys that keep attending here. Thank you for your input. If anyone has, you know, a burning desire to share a last thing, please go ahead now.
Get a front man. It's getting competitive out here. People are being jerk faces. The FUD will begin. You will be triggered. I like to call them a pit bull. Part of the reason I've amassed many haters is I used to do that for founders. I would go take the lumps and cuss the people out. Better an optics person than the founders and what you guys are building. So definitely get a front man. And if you need help finding a front man, let me know. I know some good pit bulls.
It'll become like Terra Luna type front man. That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to avoid becoming Oracle wars. Like I'm trying to say, let's not do that. Let's be far more diplomatic on that whole front. I'm not out here saying let's make it war. I'm saying let's clean it up.
I wanted to turn it around on Hypersurface. When can we expect to be able to do cash covered puts on your protocol? I need them soon.
I didn't mean to spoil, but if you can wait until next week, maybe you will get your answer. But
When TGE, when TGE, all of you, when TGE, when.
When Binance, guys, when Binance. Come on.
Oh no!
I'm glad to hear that there's we've been asked that a lot, and so that's definitely our number one priority, and it's coming extremely soon.
Cooking. It's coming. Awesome. So we actually started the space with, you know, something's coming and we're not going to tell you what. We still didn't do that, but, you know, we're ending with it's coming. So, you know, you could feel the rest. And
One
awesome,
more
guys.
thing before you end it. So Deep Hyper Dummies is stacked the next few weeks. If you want to know what these other projects are doing, we did SATA yesterday and Hypersurface if you want to know more about what's going on there. And we've got Redstone coming up this week. And I think we have an NFT project, post-reg photos today. For all these things, though, because you're all on different timelines, of course, on Host in Mind, under our bio above the TL is a click. It looks like a community. It's not. It's just an aggregated data source where all of these recorded spaces, including Hypersurface, is so people can go back and revisit.
Can I just finish with this? Because it just came to me. Maybe it's funny, maybe it's not. But like, we need more frontmans and less main characters.
We take a lot of that.
I'll go to bed. Fine. Thanks for the shop.
I love it. I love it. Oh my guys. All right. Please, everyone, just right now, before I end this space, go to your calendar, Google Calendar, whatever calendar you have. Go to Wednesday, 1700 UTC. Press the button reoccurring. I'll give you guys 30 seconds to do this. And I'm watching
Every week?
every week, 1700 UTC, every week. To make this conversation, or maybe, Empress, maybe you can end it with your Automado metric.
We need to make that.
Do you have an outro or only an intro?
Please. We appreciate you pulling up. Follow everybody on the panel, but also we're a small ecosystem. So honestly, you should be following each other. Like and retweet the space, tell people where the information is. And when you see a space, even if you can't attend, feel free to retweet it and give other people the option to pull up. Otherwise, we appreciate you. Oh, feel free to DM anybody up here if you would like either more information or access so that you can join spaces if you're building something and we are unaware. Thank you.
That's the energy we're going for. Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. See you all next week, 1700 UTC. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We love you all, and we hope to see you next week again. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.